we definitely got to speak on this.
They putting our stuff out in the rain, y'all. In the rain. 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 This guy, James right here. This guy right here is putting our stuff out in the rain.
Your stuff was out there before the rain. You sat there waiting time.
Putting us out in the rain. In the rain, y'all. In the rain, y'all. I begged for them to wait. We was getting everything. Literally, I begged. We black. We all black here. We all black here.
I wonder if the landlord's black. Since we unified and since we doing right by each other, do you think it would have mattered if the landlord was black? You think they still wouldn't have paid their rent? Come on, man. Don't try to use it when it benefits you. I got a lot to say, but let's keep watching.
They don't care. They didn't look at
we black. We all black here. We all black here.
In the rain, it wasn't raining when they left. They don't care. They didn't look at the forecast. No one gave a fuck.
It was always gonna rain.
Yeah, it was.
You're
right.
Damn. This is so fucked up. Wow. I hope all y'all reap what the fuck y'all sow. I hope and I pray, Lord. If there's a God above, I hope you fucking hear me, because this ain't fucking right. This ain't right. What did I
So I don't wish this on.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Because he said it was always going to rain. You know what? Here's what we don't see and what we don't address. And here's just what's actually factual. What's the fact of the matter is, if it got to this point to where they have a writ of eviction and they come evict you on the spot, that means that you were already given a date to when you needed to move out by. You were given time. Evictions are already time-consuming processes as it is. And then you get given more time because if you're not out, then that's when the landlord has to then go file for the writ of eviction because you didn't leave at the time that the judge told you to be out by. So to act like it's on him, he said it was always going to rain. Yeah, why weren't you preparing? Why were you still comfortable in that house and nothing got moved? You could have, listen, man, it's 2026. You can check your weather app and then you can plan accordingly. But see, a lot of people don't have plans to actually move out when they know they're supposed to be moved out by. Even though if you're getting evicted in most cases, you've already been living for free for a long period of time. And so he's putting it on them. Then he wants to talk about we supposed to be black. Okay. You think because you're black, you don't have to pay rent or whatever it is that happened? Most likely you didn't pay rent. So what makes you better than me? I'm sure all those black men that was moving your stuff, the reason that they're moving your stuff the way that they have to is because they're not going to take the chance to not pay their rent. They're not privileged like you. We got to pay our rent. So we going to do our job. Take color out of it. Color doesn't have nothing to do with it. We're trying to handle our responsibilities. You don't handle your responsibilities and you allow your family to be put out on the street because it's two of y'all. There's really no excuse. Why were you even home to begin with when this happened? You got an eviction on your record, a looming eviction, and you mean to tell me you're not working around the clock? So, I mean, I hate when people try to put things on other people's shoulders for them to be responsible for. No, man, it's not their job to plan. They work Monday through Friday, whether it's raining or not. You had some leeway. You had a buffer to be able to get out of that house within a certain designated amount of time. And you decided you were going to play a stupid game and now you won a stupid prize. So it might be karma. And it might be something to get you to wake up because you clearly sleep out here. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And it's literally just a click. It's literally just a click. So if you're here anyway, you might as well click that like button. And also, if you can hype the video as well.
In the rain, it wasn't raining when they
They
left.
don't care. And it's just as a forecast. No one gave a fuck.
It was always gonna rain.
I never knew it was going.
If we
Gave a fuck to this hot still. Damn. This is so fucked up. Wow. I hope all y'all reap what the fuck y'all sow. I hope and I pray, Lord. If there's a God above, I hope you fucking hear me. Cause this ain't fucking right.
And then also you wonder why you get certain outcomes that you do. Do you believe or not? If somebody really believed, would they be talking to God like that? You think you can, and then you wonder why it's not working. Come on now. You got to make a choice. You can't say you have faith. And listen, I understand certain life circumstances can try your faith, man. And it's easy to look from the outside and not really be feeling what somebody's going through biologically when they're in these type of situations. Even though a lot of times they put themselves in these situations, I can understand that life events will definitely try people's faith. I can get that. But I'm just noticing a pattern. It's like your first reaction is to lash out at any and everything. You're lashing out on innocent people who have nothing to do with it. These people are just doing their job. They're not involved in your affairs. And then you're even taking it out on the Most High. My first reaction, if I'm going through something, which I've been through things, was never to try to take it out on other people. That's like people who will be in poverty or who may go through something, and their first reaction is either to just treat people badly, or maybe they'll even be like, I gotta start robbing people and I gotta start doing all this and that. And it's like, well, that's already in you. And if that's in you, it's no wonder why you get certain outcomes in life, because life might actually be happening in order to shape you into becoming a better person. And so that's why I try to stay out of people's processes, because in this journey of life, it's designed to shape you. And so sometimes you see people going through things, but it might just be their path that they need to walk so that they can ultimately come out on the other side who they need to be.
So I don't wish this on nobody. I don't wish on my worst enemy to get evicted or to lose the roof over their head. These people are obviously upset. They're pissed off. They feel like it's not right. They feel like it's unfair. And I totally get it, man. I totally get it, because listen, you know, it's raining outside. It's raining outside, and you would want somebody to have compassion for you and not put you out in the rain. But I do think that it needs to be some, some understanding that due process is going to take place, whether it's raining outside or not. You don't get an extra day because it's raining outside. Normally, when you get served an eviction notice, they give you a certain day that you have to leave the house.
Exactly.
And when that day comes, if you're not gone, the sheriff gonna come knocking at your door, telling you to get your stuff and get out. That's just the way it goes. And we just gotta accept the fact that, life is unfair. You had a certain amount of time to leave the house, to get your stuff out, to find somewhere else to go. Apparently, you had nowhere else to go. And that's why I feel bad for people like that.
So what we see here, right? What we ultimately see here is, listen, man, I'm not going to deny life is hard. Life is hard. But you're going to have to pick your heart. See, I would argue they've been living real good for a long time. Again, that grown man with the grown man who talking about it was gonna rain regardless. He was at home during business hours, most likely on a weekday. So you've been living pretty easy, man. Shoot, I wish I could live like you and just be home during the day and not doing nothing. I think we all do. But You chose your heart. Life was probably easy. You weren't moving with urgency. You weren't doing whatever it took. You ultimately probably weren't working hard. I saw some children stuff out there. So y'all cooped up in the house, having all types of fun and procreating. And so now you've been living easy for a while. In most cases, what we find. And then balance comes into effect. What do I mean by balance? Well, simply, there's going to be duality to life. And so if you've been living easy for all this time, you ain't had to pay rent, you ain't had to go to work, you just been inside, literally and figuratively. You've been inside. You've been inside something. Real comfortable. Settled in. And so now it's like things get hard. Now you got to be out on a rainy day. It's very, I don't want to say ironic, but it's almost metaphoric. You've been living so good for so long that when that hard day came, oh, it came. And everything came pouring down. And so it's really supposed to be something that's supposed to be remembered. And whenever you get into your next situation, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to move with urgency. And all the things you didn't want to do. See, you probably could have sustained your situation. It's two of y'all. And you could have probably just worked one job, maybe 1.5 job. And by 1.5 job, I mean you get a full-time job and a part-time job. And then maybe she get a part-time job when you're resting and you can be with the kids. And y'all would have probably been able to maintain. It's two of y'all taking care of a household. I'm sure y'all get assistance. I'm sure you would have been able to maintain. But now you had it so easy for so long. Now, brother, I'm going to be real. You're probably going to have to get 3 jobs in order to correct this. And that's just where we are now. And so, listen, man, things ain't going to be easy forever. And this is what a lot of people find it now. But what we find is a lot of people are making decisions, and making a decision not to do nothing is still a decision. And it compounds the same way bad decisions compound. It's a bad decision. It just compounds a little bit slower. But once that buildup ultimately happens, it has the potential to make everything collapse. So that's what we see. I wish them the best, but at the same time, I think that there were definitely some opportunities in there that they forsaked, all in the sake of comfort.
So this mailman say he got some complaints in an apartment complex that he happens to live in. A certain neighbor was complaining, saying that their packages was always late.
The caption says the mailman got the whole family evicted when he told the manager what was going on. The whole family, huh?
So where he say he got some complaints in an apartment complex that he happens to live in. A certain neighbor was complaining, saying that their packages was always late. So what he did was he went to the landlord, the manager of the apartments, and said, give me the names of each tenant so I can put it in the mailbox, so I can make sure I put everything in there and I can have it on time. So when he got the names to put on the mailboxes, he figured out whose apartment it was and the name, so he went to do the investigation. So come to find out, the girl that was complaining about him had a boyfriend that was living in the apartment complex and not on the lease. So guess what he does? He goes back and tells the apartment manager, oh, so-and-so has her boyfriend staying in the apartment, and is everything cool with that? The manager's like, nah, she's not supposed to have anybody on her lease but her. Guess what's going to happen to her? The mailman said, first thing Monday morning, y'all might as well get the U-Haul truck and get ready to move. He said, you just don't know, I'm connected. He done told the manager that the girl was living in the apartment with her boyfriend who wasn't on the lease. That violates her lease agreement. Now they're gonna have to find a place to live. Moral of the story is, if your mailman is delivering you packages, he is very important and not to be messed with. So this mailman.
What y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? That's kind of crazy. Let's get into one more in regards to this situation. and then we'll give the totality of the take and we'll move on.
And what did you learn from this situation? Stop filing complaints on people at their job. Because now your ass ain't got nowhere to stay. You getting evicted. So y'all, this mailman did a story time about how a resident at an apartment complex that he delivers to filed a complaint on him to his supervisor stating that he is not delivering all the mail and the packages. So the mailman went inside the leasing office and asked the manager for the list of names so that he can make sure all the names are listed on the mailboxes correct. He get down to her apartment and he see that her boyfriend ain't even on the lease. He shouldn't even be getting no mail there or no packages there. So guess what he did? He went inside the leasing office and told the manager. Then the manager said she was going to take care of it today. He said, well, can I be the one that get him the notice? She was like, yeah, you the mailman, ain't it? Moral of the story, stop calling in, filing these complaints upon people because you don't know who the hell they know and who they are connected to. And if y'all ain't seen the video, y'all already know how I do. Go check my repost. I got it reposted. I ain't finna have you looking all around for this damn video.
So he was the one that hand delivered the eviction notice. And he was really just being petty and spiteful the way she was. Because can we be real for a minute? Can we be real for a minute? I think everybody's going to feel this and everybody's going to understand that this is real and this is true. And it needs to stop. Because what a lot of y'all ladies like to do, especially in my community, y'all love to try to get the manager on somebody, or like really what it is you putting somebody's job at risk and you're ultimately using leverage over them because you're taking advantage of a situation and a certain dynamic at the time. And so that's wrong. And one of my rules is I don't try to play with people's money because you don't know what's going on in people's situations. See, you just getting upset and spiteful at something really small. Usually it's like some slight passive aggressive things. And a lot of times too, because you're already a passive aggressive person with bad intent, when you come in, and when I say bad intent, I mean that you don't go into interactions with good faith. You're already you may misinterpret a situation and assume somebody meant something in a certain way that they didn't even mean it in. And then you go ahead and you start taking actions and you don't know if this mailman has small children. This man's going to work. See, you don't know what people got going on. And it's, man, I done had people try to get in my way before. And when I say get in my way, like really try to do things, it still happens to this day. Even on this platform, you would be so surprised. But I don't say nothing about it because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be cursing the Most High and all this stuff in the rain and all that. Nah, everything happens for a reason. I take it in stride and I feel like it's part of the training. It's part of the journey. But ultimately what I'm saying is you playing with people's jobs, you playing with people's livelihood for little fickle, trivial reasons that are usually tied back to your own ego. And see, now she done played a stupid game, won a stupid prize, playing with this mailman. And it just really needs to stop. Always wanting to report somebody to the manager or talk about I'm going to contact corporate and all this type of stuff. I done seen it where as soon as a police officer shows up, go and get your supervisor. It's like, listen, everything is not customer service. I done seen people get arrested and still think it's customer service. And like they have to like take their order. And so I'm just saying that needs to be addressed. You need to just move out here, just humble. And also, let's say whatever your suspicion was is actually true. Let's say somebody's maybe says something slick to you or whatever the case. You know it's okay to just let things go. I do it all the time. It's very freeing when you can just let things go and you don't really let it bother you and you don't let it show in any way, shape, or form. And actually, it's even better when you can actually just respond back again in good faith and really just with love because that's just something in your heart. But you try to listen, if you're going to go back and forth, you got to understand it's you against that person. And there are certain things, again, that you don't know, whether that's you might be taking the livelihood away from somebody who has children the same way you have children, and you always needing help. And then you take somebody's livelihood away and they actually going to work. Or you F around and like she said, you end up coming at somebody who's well connected and you didn't even know who you was dealing with. And that's always been one of the most dangerous things to do in society. And it still holds up to this day. Whether we're talking about courtiership within kingdoms or even to this day, you better know who you're dealing with when you decide to go at odds with somebody. And especially if they know where you live or they know any intimate details about you to where they can also come for you. And if you're doing dirt, man, don't you know taking somebody's livelihood away in the modern century is almost akin to death? That's literally the biological feeling that somebody will have. They'll still have fight or flight just by their manager saying, hey, come in the office. I got to tell you something. So you're going to risk actually putting someone's job in jeopardy who comes out and does a hard day's work over little petty trivial matters before you even talk to that person. Listen, this dude knows where you stay. Be glad that's all he did. Because you play with people's jobs out here, people ain't playing with you. Be glad they don't hire a hitman or something, or they don't become the hitman. All these things can happen. And that's why I just say stop playing these little frivolous games that have the potential to end up in volatile situations.
You know what's been on my mind heavy? I remember when I was going through an eviction, and I just remember like those last.
The caption says, when I was facing eviction as a single mom, it's so stressful.
Yeah, I remember when I was going through an eviction, and I just remember like those last days in my home, like that when you're going through an eviction for all the single moms, that have gone through it. There's a level of stress that cannot be described to you. And this morning, I cannot wait till I'm financially in a situation where I am able to help mamas in crisis. Like I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Not just mamas, boys, men, everybody, anybody that needs it, because it's so hard out here. Like, I'll never forget how that felt. And then we ended up going to a domestic violence shelter. And just trying to parent there and like all the different, just different varieties. You got these mothers suffering from depression, trying to just pull the pieces together, on top of parenting in an environment where you're under a microscope, so to speak. So your whole world's falling apart because there's no normalcy. You're not in your home and you're still having to hold it together. And I just want to send you guys love because nothing is easy about it.
She says she wishes she was in a position where she could help single mothers, mostly, predominantly. And I think that's good. I think that's commendable. But I think she needs to rethink what the position is that she needs to be in to help. Because you're in a position now. You online talking, ain't you? You in a position, I'm in a position. And so you could use your position right now. People sometimes always think they need everything before they can actually act and ultimately help others. You can help right now. Be resourceful with what you have. Clearly, you have a microphone. I've come across your content before. So I'm not going to tell you how to help, but I'm going to recommend that you can help by telling them not to be single mothers. And that's what I try to do. Or to actually have something foundational before they decide to just become mothers. To me, that's the solution. That's the best way to help. The best way to help, because we see some of the most outrageous situations. And the situations that I feel like she's referring to are some of those outrageous situations where it's like Sure, we can address the fact that people are getting evicted and it's so hard out here. But are we not going to address the fact that you got 4 or 5 kids by 5, 6 different fathers, and you just make your situation so complex than it has to be? So it would have it, I can say it, and I don't mind saying it because, again, I feel like I'm on the side of truth with everything that I say. I'm not gonna come on here lying. Sometimes I may restrain myself a little bit and not go as far as I could, but it's never gonna be where I'm pandering. But it would be so much more impactful if it came out of your mouth and other women's mouths. And I feel like that's where the change would be. But instead of, a lot of times it's not coming out y'all mouths. And then what's also happening is the young ladies are actually watching your behavior and watching your life, and then they're imitating it because most likely you're a single mom. And so you're not advocating against it, as well as, and I'm not saying she's not, I'm just saying in general, the sentiment, not advocating against it, not saying not telling them you really should do it this way. You're just like, oh, I just feel so bad. I should help. Advocate against it then. Advocate, let them know this is hard. Don't do it. See, we never just say don't do it. Do not do it. Under any circumstances, do not do it. Carry yourself correctly, accordingly, with class, with grace. I don't hear y'all coming online saying that. You'll even see stuff of some of the young ladies embarrassing themselves and acting shameful, and you'll start turning up right with them. And so I feel like that's the best way you could help. But they're just not going to do it because to do that, it will be a direct reflection of where they went wrong. And they don't want to really come to terms with that. They don't want to really come to terms with that. You got to come to terms with that. That you did it wrong. And now you got to pass it forward so that some other people would do it right. But sometimes there's like this little envy and jealousy of no, I'd rather just more people do it so I feel better about what I did. Instead of, nah, let me just let them get more ahead than me and let me watch them do it right. And I'll still feel good at the fact that they're doing right. And so I think that's what happens a lot of times. But yeah, I'll just say this to say, man, you can help right now. You don't have to wait for what? You waiting to win the lottery? You don't got to wait to win the lottery. You can start doing things right now. I promise you, if you do what I just said, that would be extremely impactful because it would make it acceptable to start saying and start advocating about. But right now, we just sweep it under the rug.
On hold for a home.
Please say the name of the service you require. Speak clearly after the beep.
It says, no, we're not going to do this one right now. We're going to do this.
So for those of you that know, I'm facing eviction, but I had my eviction court date on October 16th, and they got possession. Now, prior to that, I was able to get a continuance, which was really, really nice. But this one, they didn't continue. I just woke up. Anyway, so I showed up, and I asked for another continuance, and they did not grant it.
She asked for another continuance. So she already got a continuance. If you don't know what continuance is, it's basically a stalling thing you can file in the court where it's just basically, I need more time to be able to move, basically. And so it's just something to stall. And so she already got a continuance, which eviction processes are already long as it is. And she already got one. She already got a continuance. And then she tried to go do another one. Are you paying?
I just woke up. Anyway, so I showed up, and I asked for another continuance, and they did not grant it because they already gave me one, and nothing personal, you know, it's just, but, and my co-tenant, who is also my ex, whom I'm also going through a divorce with, he's on the lease and he didn't show up. He hasn't been showing up to the eviction court dates. However, he has the funds to pay the rent. Refuses to pay the rent unless I move out, but I have nowhere else to go.
Is he there?
I have 2 cats. I have a 2-year-old with developmental delays, and I'm also a content creator, and my job is I get a crap ton of packages to review. Like, so wherever I live,
Hold on. Excuse me? Your job is what?
nowhere else to go. I have 2 cats. I have a 2-year-old with developmental delays, and I'm also a content creator, and my job is I get a crap ton of packages to review. Like,
So first of all, you got 2 cats. It sounds like if your child has developmental whatever, come on now. What do we mean by that? It doesn't sound like you got a disabled child. It sounds like maybe some delays, you said. But I won't address it. I will take that in good faith. And I'll just say, okay, that's hard. So then that means you need to allocate all your time and attention towards that child. I get you have cats, but your priority is the child that actually came out of you. As well as you're a content creator who does reviews. Imagine somebody owe you rent and they ordering stuff online to review it for their content. Do you pay for this stuff that you order to review? And listen, you're getting an eviction on the record. You're saying it's the man's job who doesn't even live in that home anymore. Ma'am, he probably has his own bills now. You still get to live for free because you're still staying in a place that you don't have to pay anything. But where's your urgent? Again, see, people will be in these situations, and then if she gets evicted on a rainy day, all of a sudden it's everybody's fault. But she's choosing to be a content creator with 2 cats. And I mean, we don't know what happened with the divorce, but we don't even know if that's his child. But it's like, just add insult to injury. Y'all struggling, about to get evicted, and y'all decide that that's the time to break up. Ain't that something? When y'all need each other the most for survival, all of a sudden it's time for us to get a divorce. And maybe what you thought was that he needed you for survival too. But maybe he doesn't. But it's clear that you need him. So we have to try to understand that. I'm not going to address her nails. I'm sure some people might, but I won't address the nails. But let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Crap ton of packages to review. Like, so wherever I live, I have to be able to get packages. so I can continue earning commission. With everything I'm going through, divorce, custody, eviction, and single mom and all of this stuff all by myself, it's hard. It's really hard to put in as much work as I would like to in TikTok shop. My commission would be so much better, I think, if I could have more focus. But
it's always more time.
You know, life circumstances. Anyway, I went to the eviction court day.
She said if she could put more into it. Ma'am, you don't have a job. People leave their job so that they can put more into their content creation, which I don't recommend. I do not recommend that. But you don't actually have a job. So you'll never have any more time than what you have now. If you can't be resourceful with not having a job time to make your content do better or whatever, then that's just probably not going to be a conventional route or avenue that you're going to be able to pursue. And you're going to have to go the more conventional route, i.e. you're going to have to seek employment.
It got continued the first time, October 16th. The judge granted possession. However, this is very important to note, okay? If you are ever, like at least in the state of Virginia, if you have like an eviction, you can put a motion to continue. And if you're facing hardship, don't try to play the system. If you really are facing hardship and you don't have the money for rent, and like you know, like you can prove it, you know what I'm saying? You can actually physically prove it, then they will, you know.
But you're
But
choosing not to work.
usually when judges set an appeal bond for an eviction, normally they set it for the amount that you owe. Okay, so in this case, we owed over $8,000. We were like 2 or 3 months behind. I think it's 3 months behind now. August 1st will be 4 months behind on rent. Yeah. So the rent here is $23.40 a month plus $35 pet fee plus utilities. That's not including utilities, so that's a whole nother thing. Woo, child. Anyway. Oh shit. I get like $652 or $653. It's $650 something a month in child support. That's it. Like, that's it. Okay, and then my commission. Now, mind you, I'm super grateful for my child support, like to help my son. I'm so grateful, but like,
how much you think you're supposed to be getting
in this economy? I was saying. And then being a single mom, not having a babysitter, and then to pay for daycare, I need money, but then to work, I need daycare, and you get it, right? Okay, so anyway, not to mention I'm almost 7 years clean, so as a recovering addict facing all of this, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like, I got mental issues. It's the truth. But I am healing. Like, I'm in therapy. I'm not crashing out like I used to in those videos that you saw. 10 days to appeal, y'all. 10 days to appeal. So what I did is I brought my proof of hardship.
Ma'am, you don't need to be trying to do life alone. You don't need to be trying to do life alone. And with everything you got going on, it's going to be hard for somebody to want to step into this situation. So that's really the dilemma. I don't understand, because you said you used to come online crashing out. Did you used to crash out with your husband? Listen, man. Everybody got mental issues today. I mean, the the human psyche is complex, and we still really don't understand it, especially down to the conscious, subconscious level. So we all got mental issues. We all have mental battles in our head. I'm not going to downplay if she has anything chemically going on, because I understand we are also chemicals as well. But they got medicines for that, I guess, to sedate you if that's what you need to do. But so what make you want to be out here with mental issues, with a small child, and you're just trying to do TikTok shop? This is just going to continue to be a sinking ship. I can tell you that right now. And so what's probably going to happen, here's my thing. What's your husband doing? What's your husband doing? You got mental issues, you don't got a job, and you got cats. See, and this is why the system is so messed up. And you used to be an addict, I guess. And I'm not judging you, but at the same time, with the totality of all that, that would lead me to think that this is what we all know. This is what we know about you. So now I'm looking towards the other parent as far as, well, maybe they would be a better fit for this child. And then that will solve the time thing that you have going on. And then you could be paying, since the 600 or whatever ain't meeting your needs, then you can get a full-time job. And then, since, like you just said, 600 or whatever in this economy isn't enough to do whatever, you can actually get 2 or 3 jobs so that you can pay your ex-husband $1,200 a month and make sure that him and your child are doing real good. But see, that's when things get a little bit skewed. That's when things don't necessarily make sense anymore. And that's what the system ultimately represents, because it's almost like, man, she would have to be Voldemort in order for you to be able to somehow make a case that you're the better parent, even though we got all this going on, and we could probably even pull up things, Y'all really think about this. She says she was coming online crashing out. Look at yourself. To know yourself is to know the human race. What would it take for you to get a camera, put it in your face, and come online on a public platform that you know is going to live on there forever? What would it take you to come online and crash out online, i.e., act a fool, screaming, yelling, whatever? That's what I assumed crashing out means. What would it take within you to get to that point? You would have to be in a crazy, volatile, erratic mindset state, wouldn't you? It would take a lot, probably, right? For reasonable, rational, civilized people. She said she did that multiple times. See, a lot of times we hear things, but we don't actually explore and evaluate what that would actually take to actually come to fruition. That already lets me know everything I need to know, combined with the other context that she shared. And so, just about anybody, in my mind, after hearing everything I needed to hear, lets me know they probably be a better fit to raise that child. But although the court systems say they do what's in the best interest for the child, that's not true. They do what's in the best interest for who's going to be able to work the most to pay them, while also being able to restrict a man and confine a man. The easiest way to, because at the end of the day, it's men who keep this society running and all this type of stuff. And you need the men to do the backbreaking work and to do everything that it takes in order to keep it running, while also keeping them capitulated to the point to where you never have to worry about a revolt or, a civil war or whatever. And so you can do all these things at once by leveraging and weaponizing the court system. And so, because when we really look at it and we really explore it, are we really doing what's in the best interest of the kid? No, not at all. But I digress. Y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you can hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So that's why it's usually best practice, if you want to hype, to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And also, if you want to become a member of the channel as well, join buttons on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments, where it will show people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, if you want to become a member, join buttons on the video. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.